Charles came to play tonight. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line. Weber imploring the crowd.
Kenny Smith hitting the three.
Here's Isaiah. Go! Mr. Big Shot.
It's that NBA roundtable discussion you just can't live without. It's open court here on NBA TV. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, and let me introduce you to the panel. Shaquille O'Neal is here. Hold your applause.
Ring time.
Kenny the Jet Smith and his TNT colleague, Charles Barkley.
Thank you, America.
Thank you. Isaiah Thomas, pleasure to have you with us again tonight.
Good to be here.
Chauncey Billups.
Whoa. Welcome to retirement, Mr. Billups.
A mile high Denver Broncos salute.
There you go.
How'd that work out for you in the Super Bowl?
What about this year?
We don't know yet.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Chris Webber.
Sue! You don't want to see. Yeah, we do. You don't want to. I like the line. I'm lying.
Y'all gonna make the playoffs? Y'all got a rocky start, didn't y'all?
They're gonna make the playoffs. Hopefully, y'all get a team.
Oh!
Those last two would be Chris Webber and Reggie Miller. Thanks for being with us. The title of this show is The Game is Changing. And what we want to start with, statistics are, I mean, you get so many of them in every sport now. You hear about sabermetrics in baseball and Moneyball and all that stuff. Analytics in the NBA. Now, when you guys were playing, what stat did you pay attention to, C-Web?
Well, it depends on what the coaches did, turnovers, deflections, touches, rebounds. So we look more at, this is the game we played, and in these situations, these are the choices that we made. How can we make better choices, or how can we do things better, as opposed to saying, we're gonna go out here today, and this is what we're gonna try to do. So when I'm leading the ball, instead of you, Peja, coming to the lane making a layup, you take 3 steps back to get a 3-point shot.
I know you're a big fan of advanced metrics and that kind of thing.
Man, I think all that stuff is stupid, man. It's, you know, Ernie, I think we...
Can't you learn something from it, however, about how effective a player might be? Or
Well, the only 2 stats that matter to me when it comes to winning and losing, rebounding and turnovers. Those are stats that I would look at. If you get killed on the boards, you're not going to win. You turn the ball over, you're not going to win.
I would assume then that player impact estimate has very little relevance in your life. You know how to calculate that?
Not really.
Well, take a look. Player impact estimate measures a player's overall statistical contribution against the total stats in games they play in, yields results which are comparable to other advanced stats. Okay, so points plus field goals made plus free throws made minus field goals attempted minus free throws attempted plus defensive rebounds.
You can take that off or not.
Plus.
That's a waste of time. Thank you.
Whoever made that up can't even draw the last play for somebody to get an open shot.
Can you believe that that's being calculated?
One of the most idiotic things that we may have ever talked about here on Open Court.
No, Reggie, that's why we're showing it, because things have gotten a little out of hand, haven't they?
Analytics are good in showing certain trends, maybe, where guys particularly get most of their shots or where they're scoring from. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned scouting? Going out, actually scouting, writing down, Charles Barkley likes it on the left blocks, he's gonna get it X amount of times. There's no computer, there's no MIT geek that can tell me all that stuff. At looking at Shaq, how many touches, I don't need to see all that.
Ernie,
I want a guy that I can trust on the ground, at a game, looking at C-Web when he comes up to the pinch post in that Sacramento offense, how many times he's gonna get it, how many times he's gonna go left. I don't need a formula to know that. I need a guy that's been in the building, that's seen C-Web, to bring back to us for a scouting report during a shoot-around.
I always felt that analytics have a place in terms of judging, helping you try to judge a contract, helping you, not get a contract. But in terms of
Kenny, some guys are better numbers guys
right,
in terms of
that's
those
all
contracts.
It's fake. That's what I'm saying.
Some guys can have lower numbers based by that, whatever it's called, and not get the same type of contract versus a guy that...
But think about it. If you played, let's forgive me, if you played in Phoenix system under D'Antoni when they had Steve Nash, your numbers, because of the number of possessions, are going to be inflated.
I'm not a big fan of that analytics thing. I know it's new to the game, but my whole thing is
I mean, say, for instance, you say Reggie Miller's in the last couple of years, he shot 39% as opposed to 44 from the three. Now, you telling me we're prepared for this game. If he gets a last-second shot, are you as a coach going to tell me just because of the analytics says, well, he's shooting worse than he used to shoot?
From this
are you going to give him that
he's
shot?
at that left-hand corner.
I'm still not going to give him that shot.
Right.
You're dead. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not going to give him that shot. I got to play him as a player.
I think there are two different things that are going on here. Us as players who have gone to basketball school, been educated in basketball school since you were 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, playing for different coaches, different programs. You know, you got a 20, 25-year education that you bring to the table. So when you talk about the eye test, you have really been educated in the game of basketball. Now we have a group of individuals who have come into our game who haven't gone to the basketball schools that we've gone to. And when I mean the basketball schools, I'm talking about the coaching, the training, the playing, the hours of films that you've had to watch to have this education and institutional knowledge that you can really look at a basketball player and critique it, analyze it, without necessarily having to go to a stat sheet and see and tell you what that means. Others outside of basketball, because they want to come into basketball, have said, okay, the on-the-job training that all of us have had over the last 30 years in this business, they're saying that we can take this piece of paper and say, Shaq's going to catch the ball on the left block 17 times, and because he catches it 17 times, he's going to only make 8 shots, so forth and so on. So therefore, they're saying we take all the emotion out of the game, when really they're not taking the emotion out of the decision, they're taking the intelligence out of the decision, and consequently, it's eliminating the on-the-job training that we've all experienced. We all knew that the stat sheet for us, we can all manipulate the stat sheet at any point in time we want. So when I came into the game, the big man dominated. And the criteria was if you got X amount of rebounds, it was weighted. If you shot a certain field goal percentage, it was weighted. So you shot 60% from the field, you shot 60% from the field, but all the offenses were geared around big men. So you shot closer to the basket. I shot 45% from the field because most of my shots were 18 to 20 feet away. So consequently, the stat sheet didn't tell the true story about my field goal percentage and your field goal percentage. So little guys, we had to adjust our game and try to get rid of this stat sheet, because we could never be MVP of the league or be the best player on our team, because the criteria and the measurements that we were being judged by, they didn't fit the little guys. So the little guys were out of the league, and the 6'9" point guards start coming in because they can get closer.
The thing is, too, Isaiah, you look around these days, whether it's basketball or baseball, front office executives who have bought into this and have people who are just working on this and are funneling this information to head coaches or managers. And so there is some heat on these guys to say, okay, I will take into consideration what you are giving me and try to use this kind of stuff, even though that may not be the way the coach is exactly wired.
We really want to be honest. It's about people validating unwarranted knowledge. But
you know what a lot of this is, too?
Some of it.
It has to do with a lot of our sports leagues, too. And you look at this as football, because this is huge. It's all about fantasy football. Fantasy basketball now, as well as baseball. It's for the guy, Joe Blow.
And the video games.
And the video games, sitting at home, that really doesn't have that basketball knowledge or schooling, as Isaiah is talking about, and saying, how can I be a part of the conversation?
When a guy's on a bad team, he can average X amount of points.
So easy.
Because he's just the guy who sucks the least, and they run every play for him. I have played with guys who got traded to my team, and they're telling me, well, this guy's going to be a good player. And I'm like, well, I played against him. Maybe I'm missing something. but people just go by stats. If a team said to me, Charles averaged 25 points, he's going to get $10 to $15 million a year. You can be damn sure Chuck gonna get 25 a night. I'm not worried about field goal. I'm not worried about field goal percentage.
Well, how do you view all these numbers, Dr. O'Neil?
I think analytics could work for a role player. For example, if I read an analytical report on Isaiah, and Isaiah had a so-so game, I'm 100% sure the next game Isaiah's going to change that whole analytical process. I mean, but like, you know, like a role player like a Patty Mills, you know, he plays the same way every game. So, you know, I think when it comes to like, you know, really, really great players, the analytical report changes because if I go 6 for 10 one night and we lose, I'm trying to go 8 for 10 the next night. If I don't have a good game on the left block on the Wednesday, when we play on the Thursday, I'm gonna go to the other block. So, you know, I think it, you know, changes for each player. But I agree with what C-Webb says. Analytical, schmanalytical, it means nothing. It's all about heart and determination.
The one danger I think that our game is approaching right now is the video game is driving the strategy of the NBA. Because the video game is the dunk shot, the free throw, and the three-point line. And all game and all offenses right now, they mirror the video games. The mid-range game does not matter anymore.
Much more to come here on The Game is Changing on Open Court. Talking about the evolution of the stretch 4 when we come back.
I hate when Houston said they use analytics.
Yeah.
Because I think they're full of it. Because I'm sitting here, they're like, well, the Houston Rockets, they're big into analytics. I says, wait a minute. They went out and got Dwight Howard. They went out and got James Harden. How analytical is that?
The art of the blend. The NBA's power forward has evolved from a position of sheer power and sometimes raw athleticism. Old school Hall of Famers like the Mailman and Sir Charles set the foundation for the new generation who will add to the position's rich heritage. Passing, court vision, ball handling, long-range shooting and rebounding, highly coveted by successful NBA teams, have transformed the power forward position to new heights and made it truly dynamic. And so we welcome you back here to Open Court on NBA TV. Talking about your position as a power forward. When do we even start talking about stretch 4s? Suddenly that's become the thing, and everybody has to have one.
It only works with certain players. I mean, if you're playing with LeBron James, Chris Bosh is a stretch 4. That only works if you're playing with a guy like LeBron James who's unguardable. Because if you got a stretch 4 out there, I would never leave him.
This kind of goes back. I think it started with Dirk Nowitzki as being that stretch 4, but we mentioned it. To me, Bob McAdoo was the original stretch 4.
It's funny. I feel like in my years, I had the pleasure of playing. In my Detroit years, I played with Rasheed and even C-Webb and McDyess, and we called it like a shooting big. And I think now that they call it a stretch, it's because it's stretched all the way to the three-point line. These guys shot really twos, like long twos. Sheed shot threes, but Dice, C-Webb, these guys were very good. Okor, very good, just, long twos. Now they call it a stretch 3, or a stretch 4. That's because they stretching all the way out to the three-point line now.
And I think the stretch started, like you said, McAdoo, those guys, but in my opinion, the evolution started in my generation with guys like Magic and Chuck. Now, I'll explain. You saw Magic being 6'9" and he could dribble. Remember the stereotypes of basketball, big fellas on that end, little fellas on this end. When Magic started dribbling, we was like, no, big fellas on this end too. Whether it was Steve Smith, whether it was other guys. When Barkley took it behind his back, went down, dunked 2 hands, it was like, okay, big fellas can now lead the break. So now in practice, we're doing things just as simple as just take the middle lane. Big fellas never get to take the middle lane. So in high school, I see these guys do it. I'm not thinking about Dirk or anybody else. We're older than them. We're thinking, no, this is part of the league now. And then on the other end, if you're dominating as a power forward and you got a center that's okay, then what they'll do is bring Robert Horry in, who's not a 4. But he's going to stretch me out. Right. So I never looked at it as the one guy. I look at it as they're going to put someone in this position to take away the help from the big guy. So I can't help on the pick and roll, so I got to get back to this guy. It's just that one guy in a position of not coming out. And also, as a big fella, we're not used to coming off of screens. We don't know how to play defense up top. We don't even know how to go through a screen. So for me, it was seeing all the big guys do the stuff that Isaiah and them could do, and it made me excited as a big guy because we never got to do it. And I think a lot of people aren't taking that into the account. You got Rasheed and those guys, because we all were saying, I'm Isaiah when we played one-on-one.
Right,
and I think that kind of helped, too, the evolution of watching these guys.
When I grew up, it was a stretch 4. Even now, it's really a 3-man.
Yeah.
That just moves to the 4. Like, it's an undersized, a guy who is a 3, and he's really 2 inches taller than he should be. You know, he's not really a 4.
Don't want that contact.
He don't want the contact. He doesn't want it. So he's really a 3, and that's who it is. And, you know, even when we played, we had a guy named Matt Bullard. And you talked about how that stretch 4 only works when you have Akeem Olajuwon, because now you're going to leave him. He couldn't handle the ball, wasn't really a great ball handler, but can stretch the floor.
Okay, look at all these guys. Kevin Love is a great shooter. Dirk is a great shooter. Chris Bosh has turned into a really good shooter. Millsap is trying to do it.
He's
not
improved
a
a lot.
stretch 4.
You don't think so?
He falls into the McDyess range.
But he just started shooting threes.
Shooting those 2s.
I know, but he shot a lot more threes last year.
They don't have Aldridge on there.
Starting to shoot threes. Yeah, they don't have LaMarcus
They don't have
Aldridge.
Aldridge, the best power forward.
he's the best
He
in the
ain't even
league.
on there.
Wait, no, they're talking about stretch.
Marcus Aldridge.
That's what I'm
in the
saying.
playoffs?
He could be
See, I don't consider that stretch. I would consider that a shooting big.
Well,
because he don't shoot the 3.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so question, especially when it pertains to that list. There was only one guy on that list that.
with the exception of Jordan and LeBron.
Right.
Because they were different.
There was only one guy on that list that was the main guy. So my question is, can your main guy be a stretch 4 guy?
No.
Because Dirk,
No.
because Dirk Nowitzki is the only main guy that was a stretch 4 guy that led his team to a championship.
See, but I think Dirk is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think Dirk and Kevin Durant, they're a little bit different because they get the ball. When we start talking about stretch 4s, we're basically talking about who stands out there and opens up the court.
Yeah.
I don't think Dirk is a stretch 4. I think Dirk's a guy you get a ball to and let him go.
Especially Dirk in his earlier years, you could put him at that free throw line area or that pinch post. He did the fadeaway with the knee up where guys now, Kevin Durant, are copying him with the fadeaway. So he had a back-to-the-basket game as well. But on the flip side, he just so happened to be one of the best 6'10", 6'11" shooters this game has ever seen.
I think the stretch floor has eliminated strategy from the game, too. Because, you know, we were coming to the game, and there was no way we were going to play against you. You weren't going to play for 45 minutes and have 2 fouls. It just wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to play the game for 45, 40. The best players now very rarely get in foul trouble. And when they do get in foul trouble, I very rarely see a point guard come down and say, oh, see, Webb's got 3 fouls. I know I can get a basket off him because he don't want to get up that, he want to pick up that 4th. They never go back at him. So consequently, the strategies of the game, the offense, the way the offense are being run, you know, it's just totally different. So I think the chess that we used to play in basketball, we don't play chess anymore.
Play checkers.
Play checkers.
Hey, Reggie, as a 3-point specialist, how do you assess where we stand with the 3-pointer and the emphasis some teams can put on that?
It's interesting. When I came into the league in '87 and '88, the team average for, at the time it was 27 or 28 teams, the league average was 130 made threes by each team. Last year it was 635 average for all 30 teams. Ooh. So that shows you how much the 3-point influx has been. Is it because of the international play? I don't know.
It's a good thing or bad thing?
You know what, Reggie? But I think...
I mean...
It's a bad thing.
Well, what about points per game? When you came in '87, '88, I guarantee you, most teams in the league were averaging close to 100 points a night.
But it was a lot more run and gun. It was a physical more play, but...
Well, we ran more, too.
We ran more, and it was much more physical.
I think the league plays slower now.
Yeah, because I think
the rules are different now, too, though.
Yeah, but I think...
Because they cater to the offense now as opposed to when we played.
But I also think these guys, we see it every night when we're on television. Guys will have fast break. They won't even go to the basket. They spread out, they get behind the 3-point line.
It depends on who's shooting. Question, because you have a lot of bad guys who have been told that they're better three-point shooters than they really are, shooting threes.
See, that's what I think.
Go ahead. But I think this, though. I think the fact that there's so many more three-point shots being taken is because, obviously, when we all came in the league, it was different. It was big guys. It was Shaq. It was Hakeem. It was David. It was Mutombo. It was Smits. I think it's a direct reflection of it's just no dominant big guys in the league, which means you're gonna space everybody out and you're gonna try to run around and kick it off with three-point shots. You don't have anybody, not very many guys you can throw it to and say, all right, go to work. Get everybody in foul trouble, go to work. We'll be ready when we get it. You don't have it.
I agree, but I disagree in this part. To me, being a guy who shot threes, and especially in the latter part of his career, it's allowed guys who can't play to stay in the league.
Yep.
Because if you just can be a specialist. Honestly, when I first came into the league, you couldn't be a specialist. There were far and few guys who were just a defensive guy. Maybe there was a couple of those, and then there was guys. But even the shooters were basketball players. They still could handle it. They still could, but their best asset was shooting. Now, you could just go to a shooting machine and stay on it for 3 hours, and you might get a job. You might get a job, and that's all you have to do. Well, you couldn't do that before, and it just allowed bad players, which means bad coaching, which means now I have to coach the talent that I have. So, okay, just stand out there, which now I'm going to isolate. Now the ball
But if that's your system,
and
though,
all of a
Kenny.
sudden the game is slower and it's different.
But if that's your system and you Greg Popovich and you saying, okay, we got these 3 or 4 playmakers, we just need shooters. I don't need a shooter that's going to come in.
But tell me one guy on their team that the only thing he does is can shoot.
Danny Green.
Matt Bonner.
I think Danny Green could defend.
He ain't showed you nothing else.
I think he could defend. I think Danny Green, if you press, he could get the ball from free throw line to free throw line. But there are guys, I wouldn't say on the Spurs team, and I don't want to call out all the guys, that if you said get to the free throw line and go around a cone, they're going to kick it out of bounds.
And I don't disagree with you because I think shooting is a talent. I think shooting is a talent.
It's a part of the game.
Yeah, I understand, but like, everybody's not.
That shouldn't be your only talent.
But I'm just saying, we just can disagree because I think some guys they're defensive specialists. You know, they can't shoot a lick. They're defensive specialists. But I think Paul Silas is one of the best coaches I played for. He was talking to me about Red Auerbach one day. He says, I said, how do we put our team together? He says, okay, this is what Red did. He says, figure out what every guy NBA talent is. Like, and I'm not disparaging the guy, like Steve Kerr was a great shooter. That won championship because once you left him, he's going to make the shot. I think that's a pretty amazing talent. Because there are guys we leave open all the time.
Well, let me say this. And, I mean, Steve Kerr wasn't a great scorer.
No, he was just a great shooter.
But also, if you watched him play at the University of Arizona, he was a point guard. He handled the ball. He brought it up.
Would you consider Steve a specialist according to your thing? Like that was the one thing he did and the only
That was the best thing he did. But it became the only thing as he got older.
But you got to remember, when he got older, he was playing with the best player
Right. That was as he got older. But when
really
he came into the league, that was not the only thing he could do. There are guys coming into the league where that's the only thing they can do.
When we come back, stats can tell you some things, but they can never explain why, I don't know, Big Country Reeves owned Shaquille O'Neal. Stories like that.
Really?
And the guy that Isaiah Thomas hated to face when we come back.
You don't want nothing to Vancouver?
I had 3 guys that I just could not stop. I couldn't guard them. First one was Big Country Reeves. He would pick and pop my death. The second one was Rick Schmitz early on, before we faced y'all in the finals. He used to kill me. Another one was Ildrunas Jogauskas. And then the last one was George Murasan.
That's right, Jorge.
George Murasan used to give me numbers in Washington.
Wait.
So how did that happen?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did he just name 4 guys?
Yes, those 3 guys all...
3 guys, he named 4 guys. Good job, doctor.
Hey, we welcome you back to Open Court. This is one of those things where I guess you can say statistically this guy should just kill this guy, or this is one of those limo games. You make sure he gets to the arena because you're going to wear him out. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way, does it, Shaq? If you had to narrow it down to just one.
Big country.
Big country. Why?
Because you know, guards that don't play defense, they always tell bigs to show. So I would show, and Big Country be 15 feet away, and I would have to rotate back. And he had the ugliest Duckworth one-hand jumper. He shoot it and it always go in. And till halftime, I'm looking at the stats. Shaq 15, Big Country 26. I'm like, man, this cat's killing me.
That's how I got that big contract.
Yeah.
All the big name point guards you faced, and all the battles you had in your career, your Hall of Fame career. And who are you telling me is your toughest guy to check?
Steve Coulter.
Oh, of course, we all knew that.
The crooked leg. he had a move.
Get a ball, get a ball, get a ball.
You have a game?
Get a ball.
Ball right here.
He had a move.
I guard you.
I couldn't.
I guard you.
I could not.
Come over
get
here,
this
I
move.
guard you. I guard you.
And we would call it the crooked leg. He's going right, full speed, and he would stop, plant his left leg really hard. And then he would throw the ball and then go with it. Full speed, right? And so Washington had this great scorer by the name of Jeff Malone.
Oh, yeah.
And we would come to the arena. We playing the Washington Bullets Wizards now, right? And I would say to Dumars, hey, you take Steve Coulter. I got Jeff Malone.
How about it, Chauncey?
Probably a couple guys. One, Carlos Arroyo, who,
Oh, yeah.
y'all see, Puerto Rican kid. He came in the league, man, and you know, he played okay, but his numbers weren't great. But, man, he was tricky with that handle, man. He was tricky. You know, you had to focus in on him. So I would say Los, and then Tyronn Lue, who Shaq knows, and he didn't have, you know, this stellar career, but stayed around a long time. But he was so tough to stay in front of, and his mid-range game was top-notch. And, you know, you wouldn't know that, but I know that, unfortunately.
I gotta go with Marty Conlon.
Oh, Molly Conley.
His jump shot was so
One more,
ugly
too.
that I made up the rule. And I'm talking stuff in practice. If anybody go for his pump fake, it's a $100 fine. I went for every pump fake. I mean, he gave me about 25, and I just remember just being there like, I know his game. He can't get by me, and he just, every time, and he gave me the business many times, Marty. He was the man. I
Know who else, Ernie, for him? Samaki Walker used to kill him.
Oh, so you're filling in names of guys who used to...
Samaki Walker
Hey,
used to
Chuck,
eat
get us
him up.
Dr. Phil, dog. I need help. I do need help.
You know,
If I see him, I'm going to take my ring.
The one guy who gave me business every single time, and I hate him to this day, is Popeye Jones.
You hate him to this day?
Oh, my God. You know, this guy, I could not stop this guy.
And why was that?
I have no idea. It's like, and first of all, you ask Isaiah why Steve Coulter's killing him. You call why Big Country's killing him. Like, I can't even explain it. I mean, I wish I could. This guy's killing me.
Go back, cook him down to player impact estimate, which is, you know, the points plus the field goals plus the free throws.
We were talking about those analytics earlier, and the thing that drove me crazy. The NBA do one stupid thing that drives me crazy. You guys see, you know, when they have all the stat sheets, like those little packages, and it show what would a guy average if he played 4 to 8 minutes. And I'm like, there's a reason he's not playing for 6 minutes a game. Like, all these guys tell me, you see, it's like, dude,
he would average 32.
Yeah, he'd average 32 and get 17 rebounds a game. That's the reason we playing him 12 minutes, dude. That's the reason we playing him 12 minutes. But my guy's Popeye Jones, man. Every time I see him, I just shake his head and says, you're a better man than me every time I saw you.
Yeah, well, I would say I had trouble with a lot of guys. But I would say that I always took pride that I used to say, in Charles, we used this saying a lot, I used to like playing against little guards because I say it's like shooting over a chair. I used to say, oh, I'm going to get all my jumpers off today. And he was a good player, but Dana Barros, he just got rolling for some reason when he saw my face. And so, rolling. So he had his career high. He had 50 points against us, Houston. We were up like 17, 18.
Us or me?
No, on me. No, wait. But no.
Just 48 on him.
No, wait. The best part about it. The best part about it is when Sam Cassell came to the team. He didn't know I had trouble with Dana Barros. So, first 2 or 3 plays, he get it rolling. Boom, boom. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get these 2 fouls. Right. It's not coming in. So then, Sam, so soon, oh, foul shaving. We up. I'm like, I'm not getting the business. So then all of a sudden he's still hot. He hits like 3 or 4 more. Boom. So Scram screaming on the bench. Why you get him rolling? Why'd you get him rolling? And I'm like, it's all you, baby. It's all you. So at the end of the game, he had 50. So Sam's like, they're doing the reporters. He's like, well, Kenny had 21 and I had 25. So we basically had 52. So it's even, it's a wash. But Dana Barros was that guy.
I think, Reggie, you're the only one who hasn't weighed in on this.
Well, mine more so, Charles said it, I don't know how he killed me. It was not so much he killed me, but I couldn't get off on him. And Isaiah knows this very well because growing up late 80s, early 90s, it was all about the bad boys in the same division. He's a Hall of Famer, but it was...
You can't say a Hall of Famer is a guy
listen to me.
You got to bring a guy that wasn't...
But it wasn't so much he killed... Listen to me. He didn't kill me. No.
You're like,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. Magic Johnson.
Yeah, but when you thought of the bad boys, you didn't think of really Joe Dumars.
What?
No, you thought of Zeke. You
He
thought
was
of
a Jordan stopper.
No, listen. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But he stopped everyone. But listen to me. Joe Dumars and Isaiah, they had like a secret language. And y'all all knew. Yes, the whole...
Yeah, it's called hood rap. It's called hood rap.
Right? So you got Joe, and Joe was like the gentle one, and the rest of them were a bunch of pack of wild dogs. So Joe's trying to tell me, hey, Reg, I'm gonna kind of let you go by me, but you knew you were going into Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, and you knew you had to take your punishment, but you couldn't be a punk, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't settle for jumpers. So Joe's like, I really wouldn't do it if I was you, but... And then Isaiah's looking over him. You couldn't get off of him, or you couldn't get off. So, Joe Dumars...
I'd love to hear your side of this story. Come on.
But what was that language? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I told you, hood rap. Hey, Reggie, you know what always bothered me about the Pistons? The one thing, and Isaiah probably, he can't say this on national television, but we all know it's true. And every time I see him in the studio, when they were doing the 30 for 30 thing, I said, the only thing that made me mad about the bad boys, I don't mind. Physical intimidation is part of the game. I said, the one thing that sucked about the bad boys, ain't but 2 of them can fight. Isaiah and Joe Dumars. You know, Bill Laimbeer always got to fight, but he was always getting hit.
Yes.
I know Mahorn can't fight. I know Dennis can't fight. You know, John Sally maybe, but he's more of a lover than a fighter.
Right.
James Evans can fight now. But the only tough guys on the team were the guards.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
What is that language, man?
It was bad. I can't say it on television.
When we come back, building the perfect player out of today's roster of NBA players. We'll explain when we come back here on Open Court.
They sub Joe out to put Lindsey in, and as soon as he goes by me, he just hits me right in the stomach with his elbow like I had done something wrong to him. So Joe was no gentleman, and that was really.
We've got to know more about this, Isaiah.
It's bad. It's really bad, Ernie. I can't say it.
Back here on Open Court, the panel, when we, you've heard it talked about before when you say if you could build the ideal basketball player and you talk about, well, they'd have this for Magic and they'd have this. We just want current players right now and kind of break it down. If you had to...
I did that before.
Well, then you should be very good at this. Shaq, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. You want me to go first?
Please, before...
Okay. Would be...
Here it is. Here it is. Give me basketball IQ.
What
does
you
that
got to
mean?
say? One player?
Yeah. What? You'd want the... What?
What does that mean?
I know.
No, because you know what? No, Ernie, you know what?
Your perfect player would have the basketball IQ of this guy.
You know what?
He just asked you what basketball IQ.
Yeah, because
I know, I heard.
You know why, Ernie? Because I'm from the old school. All that stuff's overrated. It really is. That basketball IQ, you either can play or you can't play. So to answer your question,
We've had discussions about it. Give me a guy with smarts over athletic ability and that kind
IQ
of
is
thing.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, for who? Not for me, it wasn't.
Obviously.
Because everybody else is doing the thinking. That's because what I'm saying is,
For me, it wasn't.
you got other players doing the thinking for you.
Barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken, barbecue coleslaw.
Barbecue coleslaw.
IQ ain't got nothing to do with it.
No.
Basketball IQ, knowing the game of basketball.
He's too little, he's too small, I'm going to work. To answer your question, it would be Dwight Howard, the body, his jumping ability, what he did in the dunk contest, with the attitude of what Isaiah had, what Barkley had, what Malone had, a.k.a. he would need to have that dog in him. That would be my perfect NBA player today. You got to have that dog in him.
I'll just go quick.
Okay.
Basketball mind, give me LeBron James. Give me the shooting touch of Kevin Durant. Give me the athleticism of Blake Griffin.
Give me the heart
Give me the heart of I'll still take it because he still didn't leave Kevin Garnett.
So those four things.
Well, we were kind of looking at maybe court vision, basketball IQ, scoring touch.
You could go
Give me the basketball IQ of a Tim Duncan. Give me the heart of a Russell Westbrook. Give me the shooting ability of a, since he technically is still in the league, a Ray Allen. And give me the speed and quickness of a Tony Parker.
What about the? He didn't say ball handling, so put ball handling in there.
All right, give me the give me the work ethic of Tim Duncan. Give me the heart of give me the battery of Westbrook. Give me the IQ of LeBron. You can give me the handles of Harden.
Harden?
James Harden?
Yeah, give me his handles.
You don't want Irving's handles?
No, Harden went to the line 10 times a game last year because when he come at you full speed, you can't do nothing but foul.
Okay.
You know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll roll with that.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on, see what the player that you described, is that a guard or is that a big man?
You know, I was just trying to describe. If I want to describe my player to go back then, give me the body of like a Tim Duncan, the tenacity of Zebo going on the boards offensively. Give me the athletic ability of Blake, and give me the confidence, the stoic game of Tim. If I had a big fella.
I would say as a guard, I would say the court vision of probably Rondo. Athleticism of Russell or D Rose. Competitiveness of maybe a CP. The body of probably Russell 6'4", 6'5", and the shooting touch of probably Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm. That's a good player right there.
I would take LeBron James as he is and add two things: Kyrie Irving's ball handling and Steph Curry's jump shot to LeBron James, and I'm good. I'm good.
You're not asking for much.
Yeah, if LeBron can shoot like Steph Curry and handle like Kyrie Irving, I'm good.
I do agree with Isaiah. I've been in the NBA for 30 years. Shaquille and LeBron are the only two players that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like him before. I've never seen a guy that big, that strong, that fast, who could run, who could jump. never got to play. Even as great as I think Wilt Chamberlain is, I don't think he had the athletic ability of Shaquille. When I first saw him, I said, wow, that's a big dude. When you watch LeBron James play, you're like, that dude is 6'8", 270, and he looks like he weighs 230. Isaiah has a great point. I take LeBron just how he is, but...
And I want my perfect player to be coached by Popovich.
I want mine to be coached by Coach Knight, the young Coach Knight.
Okay. Yeah. He gonna get a couple chairs and gonna get a couple foot to the backside.
Yeah, all right.
We will be back to wrap things up on Open Court. The lightning round comes your way next. Let's look at NBA player profiles that fans came up with.